welcome back to the channel. Apologies, it has been quite a while, but I've had a number of problems at home and basically not really been filming or doing a lot with the pond other than just keeping it ticking over. So I'm going to give you an update. I can't remember where I left off in the last video, but I'm just going to go through a few changes, a couple of new fish that I've had, and how the pond's getting on, etc. So we'll go inside the pond, have a look at the fish first, and we'll talk about how things have been going. So let's close this door. The fish will all dive to the bottom now because they're not used to seeing me so much, but there they all are. You can see the air's been turned off in the pond. I've still got the air running in the moving bed, but fish are doing well. They've only been doing well for the last few days. We had that massive drop in temperature. Looking at a few people's videos on YouTube, a few people have lost fish due to the cold snap. Temperatures dropping down to -7, -8, and thankfully mine have been okay. I think with the covers on and with the filter house being enclosed, it's kept it above freezing, and although the fish are sat on the bottom unhappy, if you like, they got through it. But it made me think, you know what, I don't want to take any risks, so I've installed the cloverleaf heater that I had on the old pond, and I've just put it into the plumbing so that if we have any drops in temperature, it's a bit of a fail-safe, if you like. So I've currently heated the pond up. I mean, it's getting warmer now. We're looking at 12 degrees, which is strange considering we've had -9, now up to 12, 13 degrees. But I've heated the pond up to 8.5, which is what it is now. And I gave them their first feed today, only a little, very small bit of food just to see how they get on. But they're very active now compared to what they were, and they seem a lot happier. The plan is not to keep the pond heated at 8 degrees, 8.5. I'm only keeping it at that because I've got a fish coming early January, and I think their fish pond is around about 8 degrees, so I'm going to keep it at that. Once I've got the new fish in, then I'll gently drop the temps probably to around 4 degrees, just to make sure they get a proper winter. And yeah, the main thing is that it doesn't cost an absolute fortune. As I said, it's just there really as a fail-safe. I'm not sure in the last video what fish I had, what fish I didn't have, but the newest addition is Ginrin Chagoi. You can see it over at the back. It's on a breeder certificate as well, so really lovely Chagoi. As you know, I was after a Chagoi. I wasn't really after a Ginrin, but I couldn't resist it. It's absolutely lovely, and he's a proper feeder as well. I'll just put a little video on that now. I did bowl it up when I got it, but that was, you know, about a month ago, I think. There we go, folks. There is the new fish. It is a Ginrin Chagoi from Agata on a certificate, and I bought this from Walker Koi. It's about 36 cm roughly. Lovely little fish. Yeah, well happy with that. Nice and clean. Look at the Ginrin scales, are beautiful on it, lovely colours. Yeah, well happy. Let's get her in the pond, get her introduced to her new friends, and hopefully she won't cause me any issues. So yeah, really lovely fish. I'm happy with that. And he's settled in the pond as well. I've had no issues. I've also, that was off Walker Koi. I've also bought a nice Shiro. Got that from Exclusively Koi, but it's still down at their place due to the temps. I was going to leave it there until sort of after March. But now I've got the heater on, I think I might as well have it over and have it in the pond. So they're going to deliver that sort of beginning of January. I'll just pop a little video up of that one now. You can have a look. Beautiful fish. I'm well happy. It wasn't the one I chose out of the bunch that was for sale, but I sort of took their advice. They said it was a really good example, so I'm well happy with it. Let's see if it settles into the pond. We'll film that as and when we get it. So that's it, folks. The feed has been off for a while. This really, although it's kept the wind out and kept the pond stable, it doesn't keep out the cold. So if anyone thinks that, you know, you can put polycarb sheets over and it keeps the cold out, it doesn't. It just keeps it stable and allows the temperature to drop very gently rather than sudden drops. But yeah, as I said, the pond did get down to 1 degree last week. So pond's all clean. I've got the pump running really slowly at the moment because I've made a mistake with the heater. I'll show you that in a minute. We're going to filter house. The only other addition is this light here. Put an LED light, it's absolutely brilliant for seeing the fish. Obviously I've got all the other lights around the pond, but I can turn them off. That is a really bright white light and it gives you a good view of the koi. It was only about 24 quid from Amazon. I'll put a link in the description for that if anyone's interested. You basically just got to wire it up yourself. Very easy to do. Yeah, nothing's changed in here. Still got my seating area, and can't think of anything else. It's all enclosed. Go outside. Don't know if anyone remembers, but the vlog room and the quarantine room. My lad was using that when he moved in with me. He was using that for his computer room and everything, which was that. Did have a window in, but it got smashed. Young lads, eh? So he's now not living with me anymore, so that is going to be going back to the vlog room, and I'm also going to be putting in a QT tank at some point. If anyone knows where I can get a decent sized one, it has to fit through that door, then put something in the comments or contact me, because I'm after a nice small QT tank. And yeah, we'll deal with that maybe early next year. The plan is to get an air source heat pump next year. I did say I wasn't going to bother with the price of electric, etc., but given the problems people have had this year with the cold, I think I might have to invest. Just basically to keep it a little bit above what the ambient temperature is, really. So it's a bit of a mess in here because I've been plumbing in the heater. There we have it. Everything's bubble wrapped just to try and keep the temps up as much as possible. And there is the cloverleaf heater. I've got a 2 kilowatt and a 1 kilowatt. This is the 1 kilowatt. The 2 kilowatt, if you plug it into a normal socket, if it's on for some time, it'll burn the plug out. It has to be properly fused, etc., and hardwired. Whereas this one doesn't draw too much power. It takes a bit longer to heat up, but it doesn't draw as much power. So that's the one I've used. Mistake I made is I've put it on the outlet. So that is the outflow from the moving bed through the heater back into the pond. Well, this is restricting the flow a little bit now. I did kind of think it might, but I just did it anyway. So it's restricting the flow, and it means that the moving bed is now, oh, it's climbing, if you like. If I put the pump on any more than that, it climbs and sort of starts overflowing. So I'll have to sort that out at some point. But it's just as an emergency, really, just to keep the things from, you know, freezing over. I don't want pipes bursting, etc. And I don't think there's anything else new in here. Not that I can think, anyway. No, everything is the same. So I've just given them a little feed. This is them. I've only put a small handful in there. It's the first feed they've had since we had the cold snap, and I stopped feeding them. But yeah, they've had a little bit. They seem happy enough. There's my new baby. So yeah, I'm glad I put the heater on, folks. It's taking a lot of stress off. Watching people lose fish on YouTube is not very nice. But it's just there as a fail-safe, really. I'm not going to keep them at this temperature all through winter. It's just I'm going to keep them at 8 degrees until I get the new fish, because I think inside the fish house they're at 8 degrees. So I'm going to keep it at that until I get the new fish, and then I'll slowly drop the temps to around about 4 or 5 and just keep it at that, because I can't really afford to heat this pond over winter, you know, not up to that temperature anyway. The main thing is that we keep it from freezing over and keep the fish as happy as we can. So there we have it. I'm literally not giving much food, literally they've only had about 10 grams of food, nothing more. Just to see how they get on with the first one. Need to clean the windows on the outside by the looks of it. As you can see, little Pac-Man, the butterfly koi, got a little bit of a white mark on its side. I did clean it up a few weeks ago, and it was like a small ulcer underneath. I treated it, but it's still not gone away yet, so I'm going to have to redo that one. Just waiting for some koi sedate to come in the post, and we'll get that sorted. But everything's looking good. The other thing I wanted to do, in the last video I said I was going to run through how my pond runs, basically what system I'm running in, etc. And I said I'd do a video because a few people have asked me just to run through the setup. So I'm going to start basically outside of the pond by the gate, because I haven't got a tap near the pond. So the tap is at the side of the house, which is through that gate and around there, and I run a hose pipe all the way through, as you can see, to the back of the pond, and that runs all the way down the back of the sleeper pond into the filter house where it goes through, and I'll show you now. We'll go back to the filter house in a minute, but I'll just quickly take you into the pond and we'll show you what we're running inside the pond. There is going to be some changes next year to this, but this is how it is at the moment. So inside the pond we have a retrofit bottom drain, aerated one, and that goes to Evolution Aqua 10,000 vari pump, and it goes back out through the wall. There's also an 8,000 litre pump, I can't remember the make, and that's sat in the corner. Doesn't really pick up any of the muck, but it's sat out the way in the corner, and that feeds the backy shower. So it goes straight out into the backy shower, and the backy shower comes back in through that white pipe. It is restricted slightly. I've got an inline tap on there, so it is restricted slightly because it does overflow. So, and then the black outlet that you can see there, that's the one back in from the main bottom drain. That's inside the pond. I've also fitted a float switch, so if for any reason I get pipes burst or anything like that, and the water drops, it'll cut off once it gets to around about 8 or 9 inches below the surface. I've got the lights fitted around the edge, some on the side and up and around. So that's it. That's all that's in the pond. Fairly simple stuff. Next year, I'm considering putting in a skimmer just this side, down in the corner, running a dry pump from the outside down through the side of the filter house and up into the backy shower, and maybe the air source heat pump there. So I might run the skimmer to the air source heat pump and back over the shower. I'm not sure yet, but something like that. So we'll just go into the filter house. So that's the perfect spot for the air source heat pump. I'll just put that there, and the pipes will run through. Backy showers somewhere up here behind the sleepers, which are absolutely soaked, as you can see. I need to get some guttering along there. So air source heat pump will sit there. So we'll go into the filter house and we'll just go through. Okay, so retrofit bottom drain. Obviously it goes to the pump. There's the controller for the Evolution Aqua 10,000 vari pump. That controls the flow from the bottom drain. And the bottom drain comes through pipe work from down at the bottom of the pond, where you can see where the outlet was, and it comes up into the easy pod. Gets filtered through the easy pod, and that is the mechanical filtration. Filtered through the easy pod, and then it comes back down out the easy pod, down this pipe, as you can see down here, and across into the moving bed. And this is all the biological filtration. As you can see, that's the moving bed, and it gets filtered through there, and it comes back out through this pipe here, all the way around, runs in through the heater, and then back down into the pond to that return. The hose pipe that I was talking about that runs down the back of the pond, that basically comes into Big Blue dechlorinator. Goes in through a pre-filter into the Big Blue, which removes all the chlorine, to the 3-stage dechlorinator as well, just as an extra barrier if you like, and then it comes back, and that's what I use to top up the pond, just to hose into the easy pod basically. I don't have a trickle in, trickle out system. It's not how I want to run the pond. I like to top it up myself, and top up as little water as possible. I don't like putting more water into the pond than I need to. The main thing for me is keeping the filters clean, keeping them absolutely spotless, regular maintenance, and I try and drop the easy pod every few days, depending on how much I'm feeding really. But at the moment, change the water very, very little. So that's the water. That's the the bottom drain and the pump, and then we have the other pump that's inside the pond, also comes out from the same gap in the pond, runs up along the wall. There's the tap on there that you can see where I've restricted the flow, and then it comes round and into the shower. It's just a 2-tier shower. It's got all the backhouse media in there, and that runs directly back into the pond there. So it is a fairly simple system. Couple of plugs on there. These are all fused, etc. Some of the appliances go into the fuse box, and some of them I've got on adapters down here. My lighting, I've got I've got the heat pump. I've got that on a remote app, so I can turn the heat up and down, or I can have it set to whatever temp I want, and that's just controlled via an app on my phone. That's a system called the Inkbird. Try and show you the Inkbird now. That is the Inkbird there, that little control unit. So that tells me the inside temp of the pond, which is 8.3. No, apologies. Yes, 8.3. And the outside temperature at the moment inside the filter house is 8.5. Once the inside of the pond reaches 8.5, the heater will cut off, and it'll kick back in again once it drops to about 8.2, something like that. So it's quite a good little system, and I've got good control over it. The lights that are inside the pond, they're all controlled via another one of those Inkbirds, because you can use them to control anything really, as long as you can switch them off via your phone. I'll put a link in the description for the Inkbird as well. They're about 35 quid. They're meant to be for people who do sort of brew their own beers, keeping the fridges cold and things like that, but you can use them for a variety of things. And just because I had one spare, I've used it for the lighting. So I'm in the house, I can turn the lights on the pond and turn them off as well. So I've got another Inkbird down there which controls the lighting inside the pond. The last light that I installed, I haven't got that or anything yet. I just have to plug that in manually. I'll have to get something at a later date to be able to switch that on and off. And that is it, folks. There's nothing more to it. In terms of draining the water, here's my outlet for the pod. When I do a water change, basically empty the pod, that goes down to a drain, which is, believe it or not, that's a gate to the side of the house, and there's a drain out the other side, goes through the fence and out down the drain. And I've also got down at the bottom of the moving bed, got this outlet pipe, and basically every time I do a water change, I stick a pipe on the end of that and flush it through, because there's a lot of sediment and dirt that sits in the bottom of the moving bed, and you don't want that building up. So flush that through until it runs clear, close it off again, and that's pretty much the maintenance that I do every time I come in here. And that's it. Got a light above my head, that's just a normal strip light. And what else? That's it. As I said, the plan is to put the air source heat pump, which will be at the back of here. So it'll be at the back of here, the pipe will come through and it'll run the shower. I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it, so if you've got any other suggestions whether I need to run it straight to the pod or what, then obviously put in the comment section below. But plans to put it through there, straight into the backy shower, and then straight into the pond. Keep calling it a backy shower, it's just a trickle tower. And that's the plan with that. It should be nice and easy with the pipe work, as it's just there. But we'll have to wait and see how this goes. I mean, to be fair, if this cloverleaf does the job and it's not too expensive, then I might end up staying with that, who knows. Well, we could use that in the QT pond inside the vlog room. We'll see. We'll have to see how next year pans out and see what we do with it. But folks, that's it. Can't wait for my new fish to come. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think it's around about 26 cm, something like that. It's not a big fish at all, but it looks like good quality. I can't even remember the breeder. You'll have to look into it. I'm not sure if it's Omasako. It might be, I'm not sure. I'll let you know in the next video when I put it on. But yeah, looking forward to getting the new fish, and plans for next year. I'm not sure if I'm getting any more fish. I'll probably be moving a couple on. Not sure which ones yet. But everything's going alright, to be fair. Everything is going alright. I'm well happy that I built the polycarb sheet. If you haven't done this and you've got a pond that you can see from your window, it's worth doing, because I've still been able to watch the fish from the window inside the house. And it becomes an all year round hobby then, rather than shutting them off through the winter. It's a big shame when you spend a lot of money on your koi pond and yeah, and they, you have to lock them away for a good few months of the year. So see if we can see them all now without them running off. There they all are. So yeah, there's not really much to do in here other than just keeping an eye on them. As I said, I fed them once today. It's the first time since I stopped feeding, which was, I don't know, about a month ago, something like that. So not really much to do. I just thought I'd give you this update, really, let you know what's happening, let you know I'm still alive and that I haven't gone anywhere. Just had a few issues to sort at home and things seem to be getting back to normal now. So folks, if you haven't already, click on this subscribe, smash the like button, and if you're into your carp fishing, get over to Bez's Carp channel and have a look at that. Been on my new syndicate, and there's a couple of videos on there, well, there will be a couple of videos after today. Get over and have a look at that. And yeah, that is it. It's the 20th of December now, so Christmas is around the corner. So this will probably be the last update of the year. Have yourselves a lovely Christmas and a great new year, and I'll see you on the other side.